because of where I live, I know I cannot go out at, I don't know, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning by myself, putting myself in situations that are high risk, you know? But it doesn't matter if I go at 3 or 4 a.m. by myself to walk my dog. I still don't deserve to get raped or assaulted or any of those things. I don't deserve it. However, I did put myself in a high risk situation, if that makes sense. So like two things can be true at the same time. Some people say that his character is not the best. Some people say that he's a bigoted, that he's a snazzy, that he's all these things, that he's racist. But personally, I vote on policy. I don't vote based on like feelings, based on like, I don't tie politics into my like identity. I just vote based on policies. And for me, the two biggest ones were like immigration and abortion. And for immigration, like I was explaining to Parker a couple hours ago, is that
Can I ask you a question about everything you've said so far?
Yeah.
If Jeffrey Epstein ran on the same policies that Trump did, would you have voted for Jeffrey Epstein?
I mean, I don't know. It depends. It depends. No, I don't think I would. I don't think I would. However, like it depends who was the opponent. Like if the opponent was worse,
Kamala Harris.
No, I don't think Kamala Harris, like I would probably vote for Kamala Harris.
Probably.
If it was, I would. If it was them two going, I would if it was them too. But like what I'm saying is like it depends like who's worse, who's a worse candidate. Like I would vote for the better candidate. So if it was Kamala Harris,
you do consider character then?
I do, but it's not like the most important thing for me.
Did you know that the character of a presidential candidate actually drives their policy? Maybe if Donald Trump didn't exploit naked women and girls, didn't rape E. Jean Carroll, okay,
but that's not.
Didn't a 10-year-old girl?
Can you prove that? Can you prove that?
I can prove everything I just said, but do you mind if I make my point first?
Yes, sure.
Maybe if Donald Trump didn't lack the necessary moral virtues to rape E. Jean Carroll, exploit women and girls, hit on his own daughter, as a 10-year-old, and atop of many other things that would take me 10 minutes to go through, then he wouldn't have like turned around and refused to abide by a court order to feed 16 million starving American children because he'd actually care about anyone other than himself. Maybe if he didn't call all black people lazy, maybe if he didn't refuse to rent to black people in the 70s, and maybe if he didn't, continue to call for the death penalty for the exonerated Central Park Five, he wouldn't be turning around and demonizing all people of color, everyone that doesn't speak English, with a Hispanic accent, as the enemy from within that's a putrid state of this country that we need to deport, detain with no due process to a center for terrorists in El Salvador. Just maybe, if he didn't say that the best thing that could ever happen to a woman is pregnancy, completely nullifying and invalidating any personal characteristics of women, and continue to be a misogynistic creep by saying he could just grab women by the P word whenever he wants, he doesn't even need to ask first. Okay, well then he just want to have completely disregarded the thoughts, wants, and desires of women and girls and advocated for SCOTUS to overturn Roe v. Wade to get some political points. So that is a nutshell, very, very condensed argument for why character does matter and how it plays into the policy that they run on and what they do with the office of the presidency.
Okay. I actually don't believe Trump to be racist. I think that a lot of things are taken out of context. But when it comes to ICE, for example, some people are saying that ICE is just like incredibly racist, and that they're going against
totally racist.
But the thing is, I am not saying that I'm 100% in favor of racial profiling. However, like I think that think that as somebody that has an accent and somebody that is Latina herself, I think that the reason that they're doing is because our people, like Latinos, are the major group of undocumented immigrants in this country, unfortunately.
You are advocating for racial profiling against yourself.
No, because I'm a legal citizen.
Wait, I have a question. Would you be okay with you being deported, or not deported, detained for your accent?
I would be okay with it.
You'd be okay with being detained for your accent? You're a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, but hear me out. Detained and deported are like two different things. They're two different things.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but like
god!
you shouldn't be
Stand
detained
up!
for your accent.
Fucking
That's
stand
ridiculous.
up!
They're two different things. Like being detained and being deported are two different things.
I understand they're
It's
two
not
different
fair.
things, but that's
It's
still
not fair.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous that you would have to deal with that
It's
just because your accent. Like,
We put ourselves in that situation. Like if
what do you mean? You have an accent. How'd you put yourself in that circumstance because of your accent? That's absurd.
why is I
Why
can't.
is he's laughing because that's
I'm
absurd.
sorry.
It's obviously absurd to believe that you put yourself
I'm
in the
sorry.
circumstance and
No,
not ICE doing that.
Like what I'm saying is, okay, let me explain. I'm laughing because he's laughing, but okay, let me explain. So it is unfortunate. It is an unfortunate reality that the majority of undocumented immigrants are Latinos. It makes me very sad. Like I have family members that are like all of my family members. Most of them are legal citizens. Like I have some extended relatives that came here unfortunately undocumented, but for the most part, my family are legal citizens, and the ones that immigrated into this country, they
I don't mean to cut you off
they
quick.
waited
Do you
for
think those extended family members should be deported?
I think that okay, let's take for example, I can't really say much due to security reasons, but I know an extended family member, like he's not family by blood, but like my uncle, like he married
Here,
like this
wait. You know what? Don't specify any details.
Okay.
Genuinely, like, just real question. Do you think that they should be deported?
Yes, because he's doing something that goes against the law other than being undocumented.
Okay,
Like
okay, wait,
is,
but if they weren't violating the law in any other way outside of that context, would you say that they should be deported?
yes.
Okay, so you just want to deport even family members.
Because the thing is, it is sad. It is unfortunate. Like I think that they shouldn't have come, but they shouldn't have come into this country undocumented to start with. Like they should have waited the process. Like
Okay,
my
but by
other
the way,
family.
this is even separate from that because, like, this doesn't mean you should be detained because of your accent, right? Like, there's no reason to be doing that to people just because they have an accent.
The thing is, detained and deported are like two different things. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't mind being detained for my accent if that means that another person detained is actually an undocumented immigrant and we're getting them out.
Hey, could I hop in here?
Yeah.
I'm f***ing flabbergasted, bro. This has to be one of the craziest things I've heard on my life for a while. Because it's not like you're a racist, bigoted white American that's saying, oh, all undocumented immigrants are Hispanic. If they speak in that Hispanic accent, grab them. You are a bigoted Hispanic American saying, oh, all those undocumented immigrants don't speak English right. They speak it with that Hispanic accent.
Yeah.
And when I speak with a Hispanic accent, grab me. Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. Like, my brain is like struggling to compute just how like fucking the immense amount of horse that is leaving your brain and mouth and entering into mine. Okay. Let me propose something.
Sure.
I'm going to give you my perspective on the issue. If I was unjustly detained by an officer and they could not articulate any reasonable suspicion of a crime, then I'm saying, well, you, okay? All right, I'm leaving. I'm walking away. If I ask them to articulate the reasonable suspicion of a crime that they possess in order to detain me, I'm laughing in their goddamn faces and I'm walking my ass away. And then if they try to grab me and throw me in cuffs, I'll laugh my way down to the jailhouse to be released so then I could turn around and sue them for $300,000. And I just don't understand why this isn't your same reaction. Like, if you were unjustly detained, told that you couldn't leave, put in cuffs because of the fact that you speak English with a Hispanic accent, oh my God, if I was a Hispanic American and I was detained because of my Hispanic accent, I would be so fucking pissed. Oh my God, it would unprecedented levels of anger. But you're telling me that you're actually okay with that. You're okay with law enforcement officers infringing upon your freedom of travel, infringing upon your freedom of liberty, infringing upon you, stopping you dead in your tracks and throwing you in cuffs, then in the back of a van with no reason whatsoever outside of the way that you speak, and that's just chill with you. Like, I don't know when and where you were indoctrinated to be the way you are. And this is you are a great example example of one of the many, many, many reasons why it is so important to get people like Trump out of politics. Because of how far gone you are and the fact that you're just literally telling us with a straight face, zero emotion, that you're totally okay with being detained because of your accent in support
Like, it would
of this
piss me
industry
off.
of mass deportation to illegally send people to a center for terrorists in El Salvador where they've been getting tortured and beaten. Like, I'm not going to be able to
No,
change
that's
your
obviously
mind,
wrong.
okay?
Getting
We
beaten
just
is
need to
obviously
get
wrong.
people like Trump out of politics so they don't set your mind to be the way it is. We need more reasonable Republicans, okay? We need human rights dignified again, okay? We need the bare minimum for everyone. So within we don't have people like you like saying that it's okay for me to be detained because of the way that I speak. That's nuts.
The thing is, okay, let me explain myself. It would piss me off. Like, it would make me like I wouldn't be bothered if I was detained. But the thing is, like, how it is right now, it is very sad. Like, it makes me sad. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm really happy when these situations happen. Like, it is sad, but the reason why it's happening is like they want to accelerate the process. Now, there are a lot of flaws within the system. Like, when Renee Good died, like, she obviously didn't deserve to die. I've also heard other instances of some ICE agents doing horrific things to these victims. However, like, what we could say is like, okay, perhaps ICE agents need better training. Perhaps the training should be longer. Like, I agree with that. But
You
I
can't
think
just say that it's okay to racially profile people to accelerate the process. If I was a person of color, if I was Hispanic, if I spoke with a Hispanic accent, and then some fucking slimy ass old white ass politician tried to sell me that I should be okay with me being racially profiled so we could accelerate the process of the demise of our own country by deporting hardworking mothers, hardworking families, hardworking fathers that are contributing trillions of dollars to the GDP, are significantly less likely to commit violent crimes, all for the ultimate demise of this country, I would say, fuck you, you slimy piece of shit. There's no way that you're going to tell me and to convince me that it's somehow permissible for me to have my rights trampled, permissible for me to have my travel trampled, permissible for me to be detained on the basis of the color of my skin or the accent in which I speak in to quote unquote expedite the process. God, that argument is just such a slap in the face to all POC. That argument is such a slap in the face to all Hispanic Americans. That argument is such a slap in the face to your fucking self. You're picking up your hand and you're going bam to yourself and you don't see it.
if you can you sell to me the idea of liberalism and the idea of going against Trump? Like, if you can sell to me, because no Democrat has been able to sell to me the idea of supporting Kamala Harris, of supporting liberal ideology. And I stand for him. Like, listen, I'm not gonna say Trump is the like a perfect president. He's certainly not. I'm not gonna say that his character is perfect. Like, a lot of the things that he has said are questionable. However, like, as a conservative, I usually vote on conservative values, and I am very much against abortion, and I am very much against illegal immigration. And I know that Kamala's policies, they pretty much advocated for more people coming into this country undocumented. And I do agree with a lot of liberals that are saying the process should be a lot faster. Like, I have friends that had to wait a whole decade to get their visa approved, and that is very sad. Like, that shouldn't happen. Like, I feel like the process, you should either be accepted or denied for a visa within, I don't know, maybe like 1 or 2 years. Like, the process should be accelerated. However, like, because of these people that are coming into the country undocumented, now we have a problem in which now the Trump administration is saying, okay, in order to get legal citizens to this country and to accept more visas, we first have to get all the undocumented people out. So it kind of like, slows the process down itself. And I know Parker said that that's just what the Trump administration is saying and that it's not true, but that is what I'm said to believe, honestly. Because if all these people would have just waited, done it the right way, then perhaps we didn't have things like this. It is unfortunate, but it's kind
No,
of
I
like
said it was the Republicans that are causing it to take that long, not the undocumented immigrants that are coming to our country.
No, yeah, exactly. but I believe it to be otherwise.
So first and foremost, I think that you're a hypocrite because you're basically excusing the unjust and illegal persecution of all immigrants, not just undocumented immigrants, because at the end of the day, if they just did it the right way, they wouldn't be facing the same persecution. Yet you're going to turn around and support an adjudicated rapist as president, even though he could have just not raped her. Where's the prosecution for his lawlessness? You're going to turn around and support a 34 count. Yeah, I could prove that he was adjudicated for rape in a civil court of law. Just go on Google and type in Trump v. E. Jean Carroll. Now I'm going to continue. What about, where's the accountability and prosecution for his 34 felonies? How about we kick him out of office, and when all the Trump supporters complain, just say, well, if he just didn't commit those felonies, he'd still be serving in that office today. What about the attacks on the Constitution, ranging from the 1st to the 2nd to the 10th to the 14th to the 22nd? What about the other civil courts that adjudicated he lied about the valuation of his properties to the banks? Or the other civil court that determined he defrauded a university and defrauded his charity in the state of New York? Or the fact that he was intentionally concealing classified documents at his private estate in Mar-a-Lago, or the fact that he sent FAKE votes for himself into Congress on J6 2021 after inspiring his insurrectionist domestic terrorist followers to raid the Capitol and attempt to kill cops in the process just to fly the Confederate flag and smear their shit on the walls inside. Where's the accountability for that? Or, I'm going to add on here, this part's really important, the fact that this is not even a consistent narrative that is upheld by the Trump administration. Apparently, it's all about justice when it's an undocumented immigrant that committed a victimless federal misdemeanor, but it's all about liberation when it's about the 174 people, my apologies, that try to kill cops on the steps of the Capitol in J6 that were let out of jail and labeled as patriots by none other than Trump himself. Where is the accountability for that? No, you don't truly care about accountability for lawless criminals committing heinous crimes, or the conversation about you supporting Trump would have been done the day he was found guilty for rape or found guilty for his 34 felonies. This is just you trying to find a rhetorically advantageous way to support the systemic discrimination and unjust prosecution of people that are here for better lives because it serves to further your own political narrative that you've bought into as a group of that people. Undocumented immigrants, they're not the problem, dude. Not only are they less likely to commit all crimes, they make this country a better place, contribute to the GDP, account for 8.3 million of our laborers, 11 million of our consumers, pay over $100 billion per year in taxes, and if we gave them a pathway to residency or citizenship, we'd see a massive spark and increase in real median wages because they'd be able to have more bargaining and leverage power to then make more money, meaning they'd spend more money, meaning they'd pay more in taxes, meaning they'd expedite the GDP growth, meaning they'd embolden American industries. Mass deportation is the problem because that's what forcefully expels 8.3 million of our laborers, 11 million of our consumers, reduces our GDP by 1.1 through 1.7 trillion dollars per year, reduces our government revenue by over $100 billion per year while costing $1 trillion over the course of the next 10 years on top of that, and then that's what you decide to get behind. So if you want to talk about the substance that's rooted in my claim that mass deportation is so wholly anti-American because it only hurts this country, it erodes its social and moral fabric and destroys its economy, feel free to. But the blanket counter-response of, well, they broke the law, so it is what it is, just simply will not work for the multiplicity of reasons I granted, demonstrating a level of hypocrisy when you make that claim, then turn around and support Trump.
So, I'm just gonna pick up because there's a lot of things you said, but there is actually like no criminal conviction like against Donald Trump for sexual assault. There's been, and I believe there was like no trial. Am I wrong?
There's a civil conviction. He was found guilty in a civil court of law that, yes, went through a trial.
Okay, but he wasn't like. Was he found guilty?
Yes.
I don't think
Civil court, yeah. He was held liable amongst a unanimous decision of 9 people.
Hold up. Let me search that up.
All right, let's go to check
So
the ninth video.
apparently-
The ninth video says, if you're ever feeling sad, just remember ICE is taking out all the illegals, and people like Renee Good are learning to respect law enforcement officers. Yeah, you're a real piece of shit. That's crazy. So you're saying if you feel sad, just remember that ICE killed Renee Good? Do you ever consider that Renee Good was a person? Do you ever consider that maybe murder is wrong? Do you ever consider any level of empathy whatsoever? Like that is, I mean, insane. Why don't you go ahead and explain this? Explain this post. If you're ever feeling sad, just remember that ICE is taking out all the illegals and people like Renee Good are learning to respect law officers. Explain that last part about Renee Good.
So, Renee Good didn't deserve to die. She obviously did not.
Could you explain this?
However, Yeah. The statement means Renee Good was actively trying to run over an ICE agent. And because she put herself in a situation in which she was actively disrupting the work of these agents, unfortunately, she died. And that's why
Oh, wait,
I
wait.
am
Why
in
is it
support of
unfortunate? Because you
protest.
said if you're ever feeling sad, just remember this unfortunate thing. Why would you want sad people to remember this unfortunate thing?
Because because what I'm saying is
No.
because
I
of
want you to
that,
just answer
people
the question
are
directly. Tell me
Mhm.
why you want sad people to remember this if it's so unfortunate.
Because now we won't have more cases like this because people are not going to try to actively run over ICE agents or disrupt their work because that is a bad thing.
Oh, but that's not what you said in the statement. You didn't say if you're ever feeling sad, okay, well, just remember that less people are going to obstruct ICE. You said if you're ever feeling sad, just remember that Renee Good learned how to respect law enforcement officers. So why would you want sad people to remember that Renee Good was killed by a cop? Explain it to me like I'm five. Really
It's
dumb
yeah.
it down for me because I don't. I'm willing to understand. Maybe there's something here that I'm just not picking up. So, like I said, explain it to me like I'm five. Why do you want sad people to remember the fact that Renee Good was killed?
Okay, if you're a conservative and you're sad because of how things are going on in the country, and you're maybe sad because of the liberals coming and being violent, which not all of them, not saying all of them, then you can remember that we had a sad incident that because of that, we won't have more liberals trying to run over officers
Oh,
and trying
wait. Why
to
would you want
disrupt it.
sad people to remember sad things?
Well, it's a sad thing that now hopefully we'll have a positive outcome.
That's not what you said in the video.
Well, the video is kind of like a short it's kind of like how do I explain it? Like it's a short like I don't have to explain in a full paragraph or essay what it means. It's kind of like
Well,
self-explanatory.
you said nothing about maybe the outcome, less liberals attacking cops. No, you just said if you're sad, remember that Ray Good got killed. Renee.
Which post is this?
Your
Hold
ninth
up.
post.
I also have a post saying Renee Good didn't deserve to die. The officer and her made a mistake. However, this event doesn't reflect ICE as a whole, and we need them in our country.
So you're saying that was a bad
right
event.
before.
So wait, if you're saying that this event doesn't reflect ICE
didn't
as a whole,
deserve to die.
then you're saying that it was a bad event. So
Yeah.
wait, if she didn't deserve to die, that means the killing was unjustified, right?
Um, I guess what I'm saying is,
Can you give me a yes or no there?
you're asking if the killing was justified.
Yeah, you're saying that it wasn't deserved, it doesn't reflect ICE as a whole, so her killing was
No.
unjustified, right?
No. Yeah, it was kind of she didn't deserve to die.
Did you know that the definition of murder is the unjustified killing of a human?
Yeah,
So you think she was murdered?
yeah.
So you're saying if you ever feeling sad, remember that Renee Good was murdered.
No, that's not what it says.
Oh yeah.
It says
Wait. So you're saying okay. So
people like Renee Good are gonna
learn to respect. So you said so people like this woman who was murdered by cops are learning to respect cops.
Yeah, like they're gonna.
So you stand.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify. Do you stand on the following statement? People like Renee Good, who was murdered by a cop,
Yes.
is learning to respect cops.
Yeah,
Why do you stand on that statement?
because I mean I'm gonna just say this first and foremost. A lot of my content is like exaggerated and rage baiting, but I still stand firm on that. What I mean by that was like it was sad that Renee Good died, obviously. However, she died because she put herself in a situation where she was actively trying to run over an ICE agent.
That statement's
She was
false.
actively trying to disrupt their work, and because of that, actions have consequences. So the consequence was that you could maybe the ICE agent could
You were
have just
so fucking sick. I'm laughing at just the absurdity of your own sickness. So first and foremost, you said that Renee Good was trying to run the officer over. I find a set of facts that were true of the incident to be inconsistent with said thesis. First and foremost, if she was trying to run the officer over, then why would she tell the officers that she was pulling out first? If she was trying to run the officer over, then why would she first throw her vehicle into reverse instead of just ramming into Ross? And if she was trying to run the ICE officer over, well, then why would she move her car away from the officer towards the right? And not only do we know that she tried to turn her car away from the officer towards the right, because we could see that clearly in the bystander footage where their wheel was pointed away from the officer. We also know this because once she was killed, the car didn't roll towards him, it rolled in the opposite direction of him, meaning that before she died, she had pointed the wheel away from him. And the third point here, of course, would be the cell phone video footage captured by Agent Jonathan Ross while he was to the upper left of the front bumper of her turning her wheel as hard and as far right away from her as possible, meaning that that statement, she was trying to hit him, is categorically false. Do you concede?
Do I understand? Yes, I understand what you're
concede?
saying. What does that mean?
Do you admit you're wrong?
In the post,
Dude,
I just feel like it was taken out of context.
In the statement that she was trying to hit the officer.
Oh, okay. I don't know, because I'm not saying I don't believe you. It's just like what I've read before, and my computer just died, so I wish I could pull up an article. But what I've read...
Are you arguing that the 3 points I gave you are true, but they don't ultimately prove that she wasn't trying to run them over? Or are you arguing that the 3 points that I brought up to you are false?
Arguing that the 3 points are perhaps false.
Okay, so
Perhaps, but I'm not...
Explain to me how it's false that the cell phone footage of Jonathan Ross clearly captured Renee Good turning her wheel as hard right away from him as possible.
Because I've seen other videos, because there's videos of multiple angles, and I've seen other videos of her actively trying to run over.
Wait. The only angle that showed her... No, 1 second. The only angle that showed Renee Good turning her wheel away from him was the cell phone footage.
But explain how the ICE agent ended up in the hospital.
This is a red herring and a straw man. I'll happily respond to it afterwards. But right now I want you to explain why it is the case that you reject she was turning her wheel away from him with a statement while other angles show that she wasn't, even though there's no other angles that clearly showed her inside of her car with a wheel.
She could have, okay, so yeah, she pulled away, but there is
okay, so now you concede. So wait, if she pulled away, then she obviously wasn't trying to intentionally hit him.
Yeah, but she could have pulled away once, but then there's also another footage of her actively trying to run in front. You know what I'm saying? Like two things can be...
That statement is
true
false.
at the same
There
time.
is absolutely no footage that proves she was actively trying to hit him. You are saying words on the spot because you're flailing. Now, to move on to the second point here, of you saying, well, maybe it wouldn't have happened if she didn't try to intervene with her duties. And now we are actually going to go to and bring up your 12th post, which reads, friendly reminder, maybe don't intervene against law officers and you won't get shot.
It's true.
Yeah. You know what else is true?
What?
You are a raging, evil dumbass. Do you know what the legal punishment for obstruction is?
No.
In most scenarios, a day in jail and $1,000 fine. Do you know what the 14th and 5th Amendment tell us?
Yes, but I probably couldn't quote.
The 14th and 5th Amendment tell us that before the state is to abridge upon your life or property, you are first honored and obligated to have access to due process through the law. Due process is what the 5th and 14th Amendment tell us. So before a citizen is to be punished for obstruction, which once again typically holds a punishment of a night in jail and $1,000 fine, they are first to be given due process, which would include access to counsel and your day in court. But you're saying we should ignore the 5th and 14th Amendment that give people due process, and cops should be able to execute people in broad daylight on the streets for obstruction, and we should ignore, the typical punishment for obstruction, which would be a night in jail and $1,000 fine, compared to the death penalty, which is obviously excessive force.
Like I said before, her dying is not a good thing. Her dying was bad. However, like I still stand firm on the fact that she put herself in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about how the ICE agent, instead of unaliving her,
She
he could
put
have maybe
herself in
like,
that scenario where was forced to violate the Constitution and use
because
excessive force against her.
because
Hey, have you ever heard the common misogynistic trope? Well, maybe if she didn't wear that mini skirt to the bar and look
oh
closer
my,
at her drinks, she
that's
wouldn't have been raped. Therefore, she put herself in that situation.
no, that's I've heard that
And do you
before.
agree with that?
No,
Okay, you disagree with that. I also disagree with that. But this next question is relevant. Why do you disagree with that? Be clear. Why do you disagree with people that say women who maybe a woman that maybe wore a short skirt to a bar then didn't pay attention to her drink that was then raped, put herself in that situation because she wore that short skirt and didn't pay attention to her drink? How would you refute that view? Why do you think that in that scenario the woman didn't deserve it? And by the way, I agree that she didn't. This will just be important for the next argument.
because two things can be truth at the same time. The woman obviously, even no matter what she was wearing, no matter if she was wearing a bikini, a supermodel's dress or whatnot, no matter what she was wearing, she does not deserve to get raped, or assaulted or any of those things.
Okay,
Obviously,
so
she doesn't deserve it.
you're
Wait,
basically saying
can I
that
finish?
if you wear a skirt or if you don't wear a skirt, regardless of what action you
But
engage in, you do not deserve the response of rape. In other
but
words, what
she
you're arguing is that, well, if you do obstruct, therefore you do deserve the response of death. Or else you'd argue that no, she didn't put herself into that situation due to the fact that regardless if she did or did not obstruct, she did not deserve the punishment of death.
Can I please finish real quick? It'll be real quick, please.
Yes.
Okay, she obviously doesn't deserve to take rape. However, there are certain situations that you put yourself in that makes it higher of danger. For example, I know as a woman right now, because I'm a woman, I'm 5'2", and whatever, and because of where I live, I know I cannot go out at, I don't know, 2 3 a.m. in the morning by myself, putting myself in situations that are high risk, but it doesn't matter if I go at 3 or 4 a.m. by myself to walk my dog. I still don't deserve to get raped or assaulted or any of those things. I don't deserve it. However, I did put myself in a high risk situation, if that makes sense. So like two things can be true at the same time. Not everything is like black and white. You know what I'm saying?
So you would argue that a woman who wore a short skirt to a bar then didn't look closely enough at her drink put herself in that situation if she was then date raped?
I wouldn't word it like that. I would say like she
Wait, why wouldn't you word it like that?
because it I would probably say
Why wouldn't you
that
word it like that? Is
because
it
it's
maybe
wrong.
because the situation that led to her rape was the rapist raping her, not her wearing the short skirt to the bar?
Right.
Yeah. Is that why? Or, maybe the situation that led to Jonathan Ross killing Renee Good was him whipping out his firearm and pulling the trigger 3 times, not her potentially obstructing upon their official duties. Yeah. Oh, wait, if you accept that logic, all of a sudden you're royally fucked and you can't defend a murderer any longer. So that's really advantageous to the whole MAGA worldview of being pompous, evil pieces of shit. So you never admit that.
Listen, Renee Good's dad was murdered. Was very unfortunate. I don't wish that upon anyone. And my prayers go to her family members and everything. If I will say this, if when I go after this live, and I look upon the evidence that you just told me and look at the videos one more time and come up with the conclusion that she was not running over the police officer, then I will say, okay, this event was completely on ICE's fault. But as of now, I don't see things as black and white. I see it as like, okay, Renee Good did something that was wrong, and the ICE agent hence responded in a way that was even worse. But it's kind of like, as of now, I stand firm on the fact that Renee Good did something wrong, and the
did
officer
Charlie
did
Kirk deserve
something.
it?
No.
Oh, but he was doing something wrong when he was telling people to be racist by stating that that he gets scared when he sees a black pilot,
Yeah,
even
but
though black pilots are just as qualified as white pilots. So
well,
he put
no,
himself
that's
in that situation by doing something really wrong, right?
no. It's he
Oh.
was never breaking the law.
Oh,
He
okay.
never broke the law.
Wait. The law doesn't inform us of what's immoral or moral. There's plenty of things that are legal that are immoral, like child rape, and there's child rape through child marriage in 13 of our states, and there's plenty of things that are illegal that are moral. A good example of this would be maybe like stealing very like limited scenarios under my view, but obviously you wouldn't agree on that. So I'm sure I could find something else that would apply, like maybe a freedom of speech in other countries. So now that we understand that the law doesn't tell us what is moral or what is immoral, okay, let's go back to the argument that I made. In accordance with your logic, Charlie Kirk deserved it, and he put himself in that situation by doing something really wrong by telling people to be racist.
Do you think he deserved it?
I maintain the position as a pacifist that murder is undeserved. And this would apply,
But do you
in my
think
view, to Charlie Kirk.
But do you think, yes or no, do you think Charlie Kirk deserved to die?
Well, I've kind of been giving a no to this question for the last
Okay.
5 months straight. No, I do not.
Okay.
I do not believe that he literally deserved to die. Do I think that he deserved to be deplatformed? Yes. Do I think that he deserved to shut the fuck up? Yes. Do I deserve that he deserved that he do I believe that he deserved to have his podcast thrown off air? Absolutely. But do I think that he deserved to lose his life? No. Now I want you to answer to your own logic that implies something else. Because under your view, you're saying that, well, Renee Good maybe did deserve it. She put herself in that scenario because she did something bad by obstructing or by going at the officer. Therefore, Charlie Kirk did deserve it. He put himself in that scenario by doing something bad, by telling people to be racist and supporting a fascist.
But it's kind of different because Charlie Kirk, listen, no matter if you hated him or if you loved him, he wasn't like breaking the law. And
Well, we've already gone over this point that the law doesn't tell us what's moral or immoral.
But how to put this into
You're
words?
lagging out. You're
Even
lagging
though the
out.
law doesn't always, even though like internet connection.
So you think if someone doesn't break the law, then they don't deserve it? So if a 45-year-old man marries a 14-year-old girl and rapes her, and like plenty of our states where it's still legal with parental consent, they don't deserve it? Because honestly, I'd say they do.
Deserve what? Like deserve to die?
To be killed? Yeah,
I'd
say they do.
The thing is, I don't believe in death penalty.
Then why the fuck are you arguing that Renee Good deserved it and put herself in that situation because she obstructed? All of a sudden, the passivism comes out. All of a sudden, I don't believe in the death penalty for child rapists, but if you obstruct upon a law enforcement officer, you better believe you're gonna get 3 bullets in your brain. God, you poreless fucking. Oh my God, I just like the poreless fucking MAGA droid that operates based upon the innate women will of the Trump administration. Oh, if they label somebody who may have obstructed as a domestic terrorist, they deserve it. But guess what? If you marry a 14-year-old girl and rape her a couple times, you know what? I'm a pacifist. I don't believe in the death penalty. How about you shut the fuck up, please? Just stop everything you're doing all at once and reevaluate the life choices that you've made that have led you to stating in front of close to 30,000 people that child rapists don't deserve it, but Renee Good did.
No, I think you're twisting my words a little bit. Can I explain myself? I think you're twisting some things a little bit. Like I've mentioned before, Renee Good didn't deserve to die, but she put herself in a high-risk situation. Now, if it comes to a child rapist, obviously that is morally wrong, and I don't care what the law says, that is something horrible. I think that person should be sent to prison for life. Just because I don't believe in the death penalty, it doesn't mean that I don't believe in justice. Like if there's a 40-year-old raping a 15-year-old or any person, like that person deserves justice. Just because I don't believe in the death penalty doesn't mean I don't believe in justice. And I think you're just like twisting my words, man. Like I respect you and everything, but I don't think what you said reflects my morals as a person.
Hey, I have another question. I know that you've gotten a bunch of really shitty like hate DMs while you've been up here. Okay?
Yeah.
Have you seen them? Have you been getting those notifications?
Like some of them. I don't like looking at all of them.
Right.
But
Like
yeah.
I bet you've gotten a lot of shitty hate DMs. And something that I maintain is that I don't think that the viewers of the live should go bombard the DMs of a guest with hate, regardless of how hateful they're being. But I want to ask you from your perspective.
Sure.
Do you think you deserved it? Do you think you put yourself in that situation because you're the one that came up onto a live stream in front of close to 30,000 people and are espousing such bullshit?
Yeah, I put myself in the situation. Like I came into the live knowing that there's some people are gonna hate me.
So if somebody were to DM you right now, unalive yourself, you're not going to blame them. You're going to blame yourself?
I'm gonna say I put myself in this situation. Like before coming to live, I knew there were some people that were gonna hate me.
Folks, I forgot that this is the same woman who earlier was telling us that if a cop detains her because of her own accent, that, well, she deserves it. So yeah, of course, now she's gonna say that she deserves to be told to kill herself. She deserves to be detained by a cop because of her accent. All just in the furtherance of supporting Trump, bro. Get at the fuck out of my life and reevaluate your life choices. There's 50% of me that hates you, and then there's another 50% of me that feels so fucking bad for you, because it must be a sad, sad life that you live.